Hello, everyone. Welcome to 911-2 Escape from Africa. With me today, we have Tyro. Hello.
Hello.
And we have Kadand.
What's
And
up,
we're going
bitches?
to talk about hentai again. And this time, we're going to talk about some fucking weird ass genres. And why the fuck Japan decided that these genres sounds delightful. Let's have more incest. Take it away.
Well, let's see. One of the first odd topics. Um, uh, hmm?
Incest. Oni-chan.
Oh dear.
大丈夫, Oni-chan?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't use the full Opal voice for that.
No.
Oni-chan.
Yeah, when Opal says "daddy," it goes, okay, that is vaguely uncomfortable.
Okay, so we can launch Opal in with Japan's weird fetishes instantly. That's pretty good.
I'm sure someone in Japan fetishizes Opal. Yes.
Dude,
Yeah,
she's basically a lolly.
She fits the old
Voice-wise.
definition of lolly before it turned into what it is now, which is just straight up pedo shit.
Oh boy. All right. So one of the first things I know that's weird. Okay, so we're basically discussing like the hentai you would find on the D board on 4chan.
Yes.
Okay. So I know one of the ones is the excessive cum. So like when it's like, wow, why is it like one dude can just like hose down, one or more women with like one load? Like where the heck does that come from? Yeah, but
obviously
in
his
hentai,
dick.
well, yeah, in hentai though, it's usually like one dude is capable of doing it. Sometimes they'll put like multiple guys, but like there are like hentais where like one guy is sufficient to do a bukkake, which is like wow, that defies all physics and concepts of volume. Um, and one of the things I remember reading like in the late '90s, someone did a study on it. The reason Japan likes high moisture content in their and in hentai, where there's a lot of fluids usually being thrown around, Japanese see themselves as hydrated, as like moisturized people. They see themselves as being very like water based, very fluid. Whereas they see other races like Americans as being more dry, or more less hydrated, less water line. So for them, that's why they emphasize a lot of the liquids. Moist. Yeah.
That's okay, so they are just the moistest people in the world. That's a really good reason.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why wet and messy is a very common fetish in a lot of the hentai.
Well, I thought the bukkake thing was also look, I'm much more of a what's it? The opposite of sterile. Shit. I know words.
Fertile?
Yes, I'm a much more fertile man. Like, look how much I can come. And I will, like I will jizz all up inside of you and
That
get you
might
pregnant.
make sense taking into consideration the big issue they have with the man and woman relationship issues of them not wanting to date each other. So since that is a legit issue they have currently, so maybe it's an outlet of saying, oh my god, look, men, our men is fucking delightful, we can come loads, please date us women. No, please.
Yeah, possible. Yeah, but that was one, and of course, usually with futanari are always portrayed being able to have way more sperm count than normal guys. That's actually a thing. Is very rarely will you ever see, like, if they go so far as to include a futanari. Usually, that futanari is going to have other supernatural. Like they'll usually have inflated boobs. They'll have excess cum production. They'll lactate, things like that. Oh, lactation. That's another fluid that likes to get thrown into hentai a lot.
They can shoot they far and wide. It's no doubt there's quite some power behind the tits.
Yeah, and of course you have, related to lactation, you also have nipple fucking. nipple
Yeah.
penetration.
Yeah, I find it tough taking that genre, especially serious.
Oh,
I enjoy it, but I enjoy it for different reason. It's more like, hello, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
silly.
well, with the nipple stuff, like I think it's because nipples have holes, so why wouldn't you put your dick in it? If
right.
it's got a hole, fuck it. You're like,
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, obviously nipples don't actually work like that. Nipples are
Don't
glands, not.
don't try that at home, kids.
Yeah,
Don't force
try
dicks
it.
through the nipples.
I mean,
Try it.
you could press against a boob and like have
Yeah.
it fold around your dick, but it's not going to slide in. There's no in
Nipple
for the dick.
sounding.
Yeah, yeah, you can't sound a nipple because there's no opening. It's just a gland that secretes things. But it's still, I mean, it's a cool visual. That's actually one of the things I personally like about hentai. I don't like, there's porn, real life porn. It's like okay, but real life porn, of course, has limitations. So when I look at hentai, I tend to go for the hentai where it's like, oh, that's not physically possible, but it looks cool. So more like the fantastical, the sci-fi, the fantasy stuff with monsters, things like that. So I tend to go more for that fantastical element in hentai. Because otherwise, what's the point? I mean, if I want to see two people having sex, I'll watch
Yeah,
real life porn.
yeah, that is true. You want something more, something that's like this is probably not gonna happen. That's why you first, like see the gender bender hentai. I guess I doubt you're gonna see that in real life. Or yeah, the
Yeah,
super lactation hentai.
yeah. And I mean, you do have like with Futanari, you do have like the trans porn there with like she-males and stuff, but that's not quite the same. It doesn't work quite the same.
Oh.
He still fun, but doesn't work quite the same. Bailey J is still hot. A Line Trap is still awesome, but anime Futanari have her beat. Let's see. Nipple. Oh, just for the record, what's like the worst or most out there hentai you two have seen?
Oh, that's I think there's
Out there
one.
in what way?
Yeah,
Let's see. Well, in terms of extreme, so we're talking about like the alternative hentai here, where we're talking about like again like Futanari stuff like that. Now, Bible Black got brought up a lot on the last stream. Bible Black is tame for
yes,
hentai standards.
it's not
Oh
a
yeah.
very intense hentai. So what's the most?
I mean, Night Shift Nurses, I think got brought up last time. That one's okay. I mean, that's weird. I mean,
I
it
think
has the poop
that's
stuff, which I'm not big on.
yeah,
Um,
but that's far between. Some episodes are very tame of night shift nurses, and some of them are extremely mild and just
yeah.
and
Well, I think
yeah.
there was one where he had like the nurse strapped to an OBGYN table and he was using the paddles to like zap her pussy. That was interesting. But yeah, most of them are boring. I'm not a huge
Yes.
fan of the Night Shift Nurses series.
So I've seen one in similar style to night shift nurses, but about maids, and that one that goes further and further per episode. It's not like I think like it ends up in straight up tube feeding shit into people, and that's of course why I put my limit. That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I'm not into
Yeah,
scat.
and eating straight from the diaper and stuff like that, and that was probably it's some of the like why I think that's fucking gross. I like maids, and that tarnished them a bit for me. Just a
Wait,
bit.
okay, can you describe more of it? It sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, so there's this rich guy who has a mansion who gets a ton of maids in there, and he does sexual things with the maids, and it evolves, it gets worse and worse and worse with the maids. And if they like, it's the thing, if they don't do what he wants, which besides fucking, if they do anything wrong, they get punished. And some of them he takes a disliking to, and one of them he tests on, and that's where she lives, basically in a dungeon, and she has to survive the leftovers, and the leftovers then soon turn into shit and piss and stuff like that.
Okay. Sounds like, let's see, is there a scene in there where like There's a purple-haired maid who like gets injected and her boobs get super super huge.
Yes.
Okay, that's Bondage Game.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be in my top 3 of worst. Yeah, that definitely that is up there. That is up
It's
there.
one I remember, but never. I never remember the name, but I fondly, not fondly, I very much remember the show. Like
Yeah.
I can always remember. I just not the name because that part I blanked out, so I don't accidentally search on it. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I like certain parts of it. Like the scene with the purple hair maid, where she gets like her boobs are inflated, and that actually has nipple fucking in it. But then the other thing too is she's a Futanari, so they put a cock ring around her so she can't come, and she needs to, and so like the whole time she's being played with, she can't orgasm, and then that's it. Like she is denied the entire time, just screaming and begging and stuff. That was really hot. I like that
Yeah,
scene.
I was about to say that's. I have no issue with that. That sounds good.
Yeah, but then you unfortunately you had the scat, and I was like, I just had to skip over those bits. I'm like, I don't want to see that. Nope. Next scene. Ah. Yeah, that was not bad. What about you, Kadan?
I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was I think it was based off of doujinshi, and that was based off of Evangelion. And it was Rei. She had been captured by scientists, and they found a way to inject her with this thing that made her grow vaginas all over her body. And
this was an anime, animated hentai.
Well, I found it randomly. It looked like Rei, but I'm pretty sure they didn't really call her that. But I'm pretty sure it's based off of doujinshi that I'd seen. Which was along the same lines, except this little cartoon went in a completely off direction. Like there was some stuff that happened, and then I don't know. There's been a couple of them that I've seen. I can't remember the names of them. What was that one? I think the most twisted one I'd ever seen was Boku no Pico. I couldn't get past the first episode.
I have seen one that's where I have accidentally clicked in on one that was worse than that.
Worse than Boku no Pico?
Yes.
That
about a teacher that sees his kindergarten student waiting for the train and she has to pee, so he helps her, and that he ends up fucking her, and I was just like, that's terrible. I wanted to die after.
Yeah, that's a big no.
I wanted to shoot myself, and
I don't like teacher student. If female teacher, male student, I'm okay with that, but that's because I'm a dude, and so like fantasizing about the hot female teacher. Okay, yeah. But like male
as
teacher,
long as the male student is like, at least adultish, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the Shota stuff. Kind of quick. But an adultish male student hitting on the female teacher. Okay, I mean that could be okay, because then at least the female in question is a hot adult. And I have a thing for teachers. Teachers are hot. But God, kindergarten. No, can't stand that stuff.
That's no. I wanted.
I would say so Bondage Game would be in my top 3. Another 2 titles that would go in there would be, and I don't have an exact rank for them. One would be Euphoria. Because that one, I forgot how many episodes they're up to. They keep making new ones. I thought it'd be over by now. But in that one, it's just elaborate torture scene after elaborate torture scene for the female cast. They're like trapped in a room, and the guy has to torture the female cast to the whim of the captors. And I think each episode ends with like the different routes of the game, because it's based on a game. So each episode ends with like one particular scenario, but everybody else who's not picked dies. Like they are killed off in a sexual way. Like it's portrayed as like, hey, look at these sexy corpses. I'm like, whoa, okay, Guro, that's woo.
And that's in the last episode where he chokes one of them and breaks her neck while he comes into her. That was disturbing to watch.
Yeah, Euphoria is disturbing.
Yes.
I put that in my top 3. I haven't watched all the episodes. I've only gotten around to watching a couple of those number of years back when it came out. I haven't kept up on it because not really, again, not super my cup of tea. Snuff is not. The other one, what I would rank is number 1 though. Like I can't choose really between Bondage Game and Euphoria, but my number 1 for most disturbing would be a more obscure one called Iru Maniacs. And that one, and that's an old one. That's from like late 90s, early 2000s. It has a number of scenes. It's heavy on like body transformation stuff. In many of the scenes, it's about it has 2 halves to each episode. First half is about a lady succubus male demon and like who switches male female forms in like 2 different personalities. And the second half is like a flashback to the history of the male character who was like a priest in the Inquisition, and so it shows him like torturing women who are around. There's one hot one where he catches 2 women having sex, and he's like, "You are witches because you're lesbians," and so it goes into like a whole bunch of torture stuff on the lesbian couple. A lot heavy bondage, things like that. I mean, the second half was okay. That wasn't too extreme. It was mainly just bondage. But the first half has like supernatural stuff, and so you have breast inflation. You have like one scene where the female demon reaches into a girl's torso, pulls and like her hand phases in. She pulls out the woman's bladder, squeezes it, and like causes her to pee herself. Then the last episode there, which was the big showdown, you have the shrine maiden who has been trying to confront them. The big showdown there is the guy takes first you get a what's called a through and through, where he grows a penis so large it like goes in one end, comes out the other. And of course she's still alive during this. But
of course she is. It's hentai day. That's nothing.
Yep, it's hentai. Intestines? What are intestines? There are no intestines. You could just go straight from the ass and out the mouth. Don't you know that's how the human body works? There's just one continuous tube. Again, hentai can get weird because it ignores the human body. But the final scene on that one is he takes a bottle of acid and pours it directly into her vagina, and basically turns her womb and stuff into jelly. Then you see her stomp on the belly and it squirts out.
No, that's weird.
Yeah, and that's how he finishes her off, basically.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's what I put on my list of that was kind of disturbing. I'm like, all right. I mean, the first 2 episodes were okay. That went a little far. Wow, all right. Wasn't expecting like straight up I murder you, because he didn't murder any of the other ones. Like he just did mind break to the other ones. She's just straight up murdered.
I don't like that.
Yeah. But that would be my number 1 most disturbing, and it's an older one. Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to find. It never got brought over to the U.S. A lot of hentai does it.
I have seen one. I've seen it one time. I remember it. I have never found it again and such. But that's 2 girls that gets kidnapped and raped, which is not nice and such. And then it was like kind of a crime story at the same time, because then the intershot with the hentai of that, you see the guy trying to find them, and he ends up finding them. The second he walks in the door, he gets shot by the guys who did it, so he died for nothing after 1.5 hours. And one of the girls dies getting raped, the other one goes insane because it's gone on for days. She murders everyone else. And the last thing the hentai ends with is her dragging her dead friend's raped corpse through the city naked.
Wow. Okay, and I haven't seen that one.
That's weird. That's not hot. That's
I would put that under weird. Yeah. Now, I mean, Mind Break is hot. I like Mind Break. Like Ahegao, I'm a sucker for a good Ahegao. A lot of the Pixie titles, like Taimanin, Taimanin. I hope I'm saying that right. Taimanin Asagi, the one with like the Demon Hunter ninjas, or Ingrid. Those are cool. Because it's like, ooh, monsters and women. Okay, yeah, that's fine. But yeah, stuff like that. It's like, okay, yeah, no, I don't want corpses. I don't want scat. No.
What about Yukadan? Kadant needs to talk. We need
Yeah,
to hear from
sorry.
her.
Yeah.
Lovely Kadant.
Yeah, we need Kadant's sultry voice in this.
What about me?
Tell us some hentai experiences where you went. This is weird.
Where I went?
Yeah, you can take it like you.
No, like, what's the question? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
A hentai where you were like, holy, like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is going on? Like, oh my god, why?
What was the name of it? Something. Something. Something 69. Like Empress 69 or something like that.
Princess 69?
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
one.
okay. I
I
might
was
put
just
that in my
like-
top 10, maybe.
I was just like,
sure.
the fuck is going on in here? Like, really? Like, what?
Well, which episode did you watch?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay,
I-
hey. So in defense of Princess 69, it's a series about gymnast training, and hey, they're a bunch of college girls. They're in college. No, really. The disclaimer on the box says they're in college, so clearly they're all 18. It's just it's training a gymnastics team. That's all. It's just just standard, normal, perfectly acceptable gymnastics training of girls. Using bondage and rape. Hey, there's there's clearly athletic benefits to that, right?
Yes, that's why it's like that blue girl where you fuck by, where you fight by fucking. You have sex ninjutsu. It's the same. It makes sense. Let's pretend it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, the blue girl is funny. I remember when
It is. I love the blue girl, and it's the only anime where I say dub is better than sub. Because the actors having to talk out the scenes is like, oh my god, you're so good at 69ing me, I can feel my power draining from my body. Yay!
I actually never watched the dub of it.
It's perfect.
Oh, okay.
But here's a fun thing. I want to very soon now turn this into something about Japan. Why? Again, I want to talk about some of the background for some of it, like the background for why incest is popular, and the background for why lolly is popular, and only finally getting to the point where it's not looked very well upon at all and such.
Yeah.
But
well, wait, is loli not well received in Japan anymore?
no, it's not. It's not. They have gotten a lot of push. So okay, so let's just
When did
jump
that
to
change?
instantly. It is not very recently. It changed very recently. I think beginning of this year's, middle of last year. I don't remember one of those in between that, but no. And it's well received within the fandom, but it's not well received within because they had a lot of feedback about and backlash about the Japanese penal laws, and if everyone doesn't know what Japanese penal laws until what was it 2015, they did not have an official statement that said you cannot fuck a minor. That was not a law. It was frowned upon, and that's what they went by. And at that point, it was still if you get a blowjob from a minor, that's just fine and such. It was like at that point only penetration of the worst kind that was considered bad, but everything else was okay. And that's also why a lot of you see a lot of animes where it's like this is the baker's assistant and she's like 16 and she's dating the baker now who's 36 and something like that. And that is a reason. So because it's been in basically in Japanese history for all time, and it's always been a thing that's been frowned upon, but never illegal of such. So they never took the step until they got so much backlash because of course they want to fit in with a lot of the world. They got a lot of backlash with the rest of the world, who then decided to say you better fucking do something, Japan. And that's when they made the law in 2015 saying now it's illegal. So of all the fucking countries in the world, Japan was pretty backwards in that, and that is a reason for why lolly is still prevalent.
Yeah. Well, like I mean, when my mom was a kid, 14 was the age of majority in China. She grew up with the whole concept of child brides, and I'm not talking like super far past. I'm talking like 60s and 70s. Kids getting married to each other was not unusual over there. Yeah, Asian culture in general looks at like 13, 14, you're considered an adult. Like on the male side, especially, like once you hit puberty, you as a male, you are considered to be capable of taking on adult responsibilities and duties.
Yeah, it's very different, but yeah. And it took really, really
Yeah.
like a fast step in that return. And incest is a different story. Incest is it's both theorized to be a case of just what some of the writers want, and like it's lack of closure in their own life, the hentai artists and such who like to draw
Yeah.
incest because it's the same. But it's also theorized that it's because of the old history of how Japan was a relatively inbred country back in the Shokugeki period. Not Shokugeki, goddamn it, that's Food Wars. Goddamn. Then
Food
Goku
Wars is not
period.
hentai.
Yeah,
Food Wars is ecchi, but it's not hentai.
yeah, so Sengoku period and the Genbai Wars and further up until the Imperial Age and further up a couple of years later, where they kind of found out that incest wasn't very good because it carried along with them a ton of defects, of course. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
when the white people came to Japan and they found out for the first time that white people could get allergic to, and they were very, very adamant that just like no, they thought that was Japan only problem because of the rampant incest that had been through the history of the country before that.
Hmm.
So it's a mix of this is old, this was once okay, and theorized to be the closure of this guy who draws this, he definitely has some issues.
Oh yeah, almost certainly.
Family, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you have all kinds of incest. You have the Maza Khan, which is the mother complex. You have of course, you have the sister complex. You have the brother complex. Yeah, you have all the different pairings. I mean, of course, Yaoi has the father-son stuff. But we did get a question in the chat about Kakegurui, which it's on Netflix. I think both the animated and the live action are on Netflix. That is not hentai. It's ecchi because it has some pervy stuff in there, but it's not hentai. Hentai is like explicit sex stuff.
Okay, and we got Tamba. You said, what does ecchi mean? Ecchi is what we would be consider perverted, but ecchi straight up would be translated into sex. And hentai, which is fun because hentai is a thing you say about someone if they're being perverted as well. So, but hentai is the actual nudity and sex, where ecchi is soft core hentai. But
ecchi, I would say, is more like panty stuff.
Yeah, by word in of self, ecchi is another Japanese word for sex, whereas hentai means pervert.
Right.
Which is fun because it's then reversed when you actually have it as a genre.
Yeah. Also interesting to point out that ecchi is, I believe that's how they just say the letter H, which is for hentai, I think. Okay. Yeah. So that's where I believe that's where that comes from. Yeah. Ecchi is just an idiosyncratic pronunciation of H.
Nick Knuckles is saying ecchi sucks.
Yeah, well, it's a tease, And so
like we have Golden Boy.
Yeah, Octane Gamer has brought up a few interesting titles. So he brought up Taiman Inasagi, which I mentioned before. I mean, you do have some weird content in there. I mean, you do have oversized insertions in some. You do also have the breast expansion. That's another common one, as well as increasing sensitivity. Stuff that's again not physically possible. You did have some branding in there. I think like in the third game, a couple of the characters get branded by the demons. So I mean that's kind of extreme. I don't know if it has like outright snuff or anything in there. I know that in the hentai adaptations they don't have any death in there. Only the villainess dies a couple times, but she gets better. Yeah, she comes back.
That's good.
Let's see.
I'm so happy for her.
Now let's see. Now there was Tentacles and Witches. The thing is, I get Tentacles and Witches mixed up sometimes with the Witch Slave series, or the there's like Witch Bad, Witch Slave, and so on. And that one, the fourth episode, they went with the bad ending from the video game for that one. That was interesting. That's actually another trend some people have complained about in hentai, is that when they base it on the video game, a lot of hentai games have multiple routes. True, good, and bad. And the bad ending, of course, things always go and end badly for the female protagonist, like kind of extreme ways. And so one choice that has been made with Time and Asagi, I think like the second series, and with the Witch Slave series, was they chose the bad endings to portray in the anime. So like in the Time and Asagi 2, for example, it ends with the ninjas being enslaved to the monsters. Like they are like eternally trapped in the demon dungeon, being, they're going to be sexually tortured for the rest of their existence, and their clones are going to go out and capture more ninjas for them. Like
wait, was that the one with the ninjas that had that, like, they go out, like their main goal was to go out and try and like save the virgins from getting fucked by these monsters?
I forgot what their main thing was. Like they fight demons. I mean, they're demon hunters.
Oh, I know which one that is. Yeah,
the main one.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, yeah, the main girl is all clad in like a purple leotard and has blue hair. She fights Ouroboros, which has like red eyes and stuff and claws. Yeah.
And by fight, like fail and get fucked.
Right, exactly.
A lot.
A lot, yes, over and over and over. Yes. The plot for that series is they try to fight the bad guys, they lose, they get tortured, then they miraculously turn it around at the last minute. Maybe, if you want them to. But the bad ends, no, they end up permanently in the grass. But that one was a series by Lilith. Lilith games were known for being on the hardcore end of the spectrum. So, like, there's hentai games that are like light and happy and soft. And then there's stuff like Lilith, which is, tentacles, monsters, gang rape, enslavement, ahegao,
I'm gonna
like
go look up some hentai right now.
Yeah, and Pixie was the company that adapted So Lilith games were adapted into hentai anime by Pixie, or at least they were. Now I think they got a different company or something. They came out with another Time and Asagi series where the main character is kind of youngish looking, like she's got the flatter chest. So I was like, not fond of this.
I'm so sick of that whole spiel of saying, oh my god, that's a kid, and they go like, no, she's actually 700 years.
Yeah,
come on, guys, stop.
Now, well, one thing I do differentiate though is you have the lowly types who are like kids, but then you do also have petite adults in hentai too.
That's what lolly was meant as a genre to be. That's the petite adult, and what it has turned into is less of those and more of the other.
Yeah, and I mean petite. I mean, you can tell the difference too. I mean, a petite adult will still be. They'll have like hips. They will have this. They'll have the secondary characteristics that do suggest they've gone through puberty. They will just be, have a small chest. That's okay. Not really the body type of favorite.
That's why Opal is a lolly. She's an old school lolly. She's not the new school lolly. She is a petite adult.
Yeah. And then you have the really creepy stuff. Like, there was one I saw. There was this guy who got busted for being a pedo, or maybe being a pedo. I'm not sure. He was on the sex offender registry, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a pedo. But apparently he had there was this game that he had really been pushing on his Twitter feed that kind of indicates he may have been a pedo, where like the designs of the characters, even though they were all quote unquote adults, like they looked 5 or 6 years old, and it was putting them in sexual situations. And I'm like, that's really, really gross. That is yikes. That's wow. All right, no. This should no. I know it's legal because the Supreme Court says so, but no. Just why? No. Bad. So there's a difference between like lowly intending to represent children and just like the Lolita look, which is, petite adult. I mean, petite adult exists. I know several. You know, yeah, there you go. Being a good
Okay.
example.
No, I had a fun idea we could bring into since we're just now talking about hentai again, which of course is the point. But can we bring it to the side topic of doujinshi? And I know doujinshi is abroad; it just means like
Band
non
comics.
AAA manga and stuff like that. But I want the hentai manga.
Oh, okay. Hentai doujinshi
Homemade.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Let's talk
All
about
right.
that. Do you any of you guys read that shit?
Well,
I
yes.
have.
Good. So every one of us. Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, when it comes to doujinshi, my general rule is if a character is drawn as an adult, even if like in the show they're underage, if they're drawn as an adult, I'm okay looking at porn of them because one, they're fictional.
Yes.
So okay. Now, if the character is drawn as like a little girl, yeah, I'm not looking at porn of them. Now, aged up, like I've seen doujins where they'll take the underage character and then, but they'll age them up into adult and like give them boobs and stuff. Okay, that can be okay. But like, yeah, if they're like little kids, no, I don't like anything where they're like no. Because my favorite is Sailor Moon doujins, and they're still popular. That is kind of like one of my favorite subcategories of doujins.
Yeah, and the best part about doujin is that it's like the weird shit you can find in that makes fucking the weirdest anime hentai you can find fucking blush and want to be better. God damn, that's. Have you read something really disturbing and weird doujin where you went in and just went, God, what the fuck?
Oh yeah. Doujins. It's actually like like there's hentai anime that's disturbing. Doujins can get far worse than that because doujins are easier to produce, have a lower cost of making, and you have far many more people creating them. So you have a much wider range of narrow niches being filled. So no, there are doujins that put the worst hentai anime to shame in terms of their content.
Yes,
Like
it's
yeah, there is a lot of Guro doujins. There isn't much Guro hentai anime because it's not that big of a market, but there is a lot of Guro
yeah.
doujins.
Like
And
I
oh
know
god.
the one I used in hentai. I use for my doujin in hentai.net. No virus, pretty good. Has a lot of everything. But for a long while, the top rated one of the doujin was about a guru about giant beetles that would suck the brain out of girls. And the girls would orgasm while because apparently it felt good, but they would die in the end, and that was fucking annoying because
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And
and there's like one guy in particular who's known for really disturbing imagery. Like there was one where the woman all her skin pores turned into like work functioning penetrable holes, and so in the end like you see her just jamming random objects through all over her body into her skin pores like to masturbate because she's like a nympho as well as a result of that, and it's super disturbing. Like if you have like the fear of tiny holes, which one's that one? Is that the tryptophobia?
yeah.
Yeah, that one's like, whoa, holy crap. Yeah.
And there's a question from Knuckles. What do you guys think of trap hentai? And I'm gonna expand and say trap hentai slash doujin. Go, guys!
Hey, there's nothing wrong with traps. The dick only makes it better. That is the rule.
God, it would have been awkward if you had said right now, I fucking hate traps.
No, hey, what? No, why do you think I was going on about the trap no state before?
I know it was a joke, right?
Okay, yeah, no, I'm fond of the traps, and there is some fun trap stuff out there. I wouldn't actually. A lot of trap stuff tends to be on the lighter cute side because traps tend to be cute.
Yes.
So most of the doujins with them tend not to be all that extreme.
They are pretty cute. They are, yeah.
Yeah. Like almost anything with the Stolfo in it, for example, is going to be usually like him cuddling the master. Although, I mean, traps with girls is also funny too. I mean, I do like those pairings. Like usually, if the partner's going to be a girl, the trap will be revealed to like even though they're in a panties or a skirt, they have a giant dick. Like, no, I'm a trap, but I have a horse penis. But But yeah, let's see, what was some of the other ones that Octane brought up before? There was Time in Asagi. There was Tentacles and Witches, right? Angel Blade. Yeah, that one's an interesting one. That had a lot of futanari. That had a lot of lactation. That was the magical girl style thing. It was okay. That wasn't bad. I always got the feeling that it was unfinished.
I know the name. I don't know. I don't remember the rest.
Yeah.
No, but I want now. Can I talk to us about hentai?
Well, I mean, what do you want? Like
all the things. I'm so.
So, what are some of your favorite doujinshi to go out and look for?
Like, yeah, when you look for.
I don't really have a favorite. Like, if you'd mentioned like the Sailor Moon ones. Yeah, I used to look for those. Tsubasa. Or almost anything Clamp, just because like I really love the art style. So like anything that's kind of like Clamp art style.
Yeah, I will say that Holic has a disappointing lack of non-yaoi doujinshi. Like most Holic doujin tend to be Watanuki with domeki, like yaoi, and I was like, okay. There's not enough Yuko porn out there, and Yuko was like my favorite character in that series.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. Like there's not a lot of like certain characters out there. But I don't know.
What are some others?
It depends on like what animes I've been watching at the moment. Like I started looking up some what's it? Fairy tale like doujinshis.
Oh, those can be interesting.
Yeah, I didn't find too many of them. I don't know. I usually don't look for like the really weird like twisted stuff like it.
No. I actually just usually just write trap. That's it. Like, yeah, I'm satisfied. I don't need anything else.
So you pretty much just look at trap stuff?
Lately, yeah, that's it. Yeah, trap and ahegao because I like the sex face. Yeah, I like those things and gender bender stuff like that.
Okay. Do you guys have any favorite artists or doujin circles that you have follow?
Yes, let me see. I'm just gonna go find it right now.
Okay. Well, you look for yours. I know a few off the top of my head. I know one popular one is Naruhodo. He's a real, as the name suggests, he does a lot of Naruto stuff. Not too extreme though. Most of his stuff is just like dude with large cock, has sex with women from Naruto. Boom. Pretty straightforward stuff. Now, one on the more extreme side is Glamourworks. Glamourworks has a lot of interesting. They do less doujin and more like CG work. With like CG is more like you click through it and there's like minor changes on the image to imply motion. And so like you'll have a set and then you'll have like 5 images in that scenario, which are just variations, and then it'll move on to another one, and there'll be variations of that. They've done some interesting Sailor Moon stuff too. Then let's see. Oh, yeah, Black Dog. He's one of the famous Sailor Moon guys. Also known as Kira Inu. Not to be confused with the hentai called Kira Inu. But yeah, Black Dog does a lot of good stuff. You have Bang Yu, or Naga. Can't remember his Japanese name, but yeah, Naga is something or another. But he does a very good Sailor Uranus stuff. In fact, one interesting resurgence lately is like back in the 90s and 2000s, most of the hentai was about the inner sensei. So Moon, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, etc. Mercury and Jupiter are a very popular fan pairing. But these days, you actually have quite a bit of stuff featuring Sailor Uranus. Like Uranus was the most underrepresented sensei back in the day. Now she's getting a lot more attention from artists. And so you see her popping up in a lot more works, like Glamourworks and Bang You.
I like an artist like Mugiki Hayami. He does a lot of trap stuff. He does have a few where you have to shake your head and say, please draw them older, you're disgusting. but most of it are finely aged young men that looks like women with dicks, and I like that. That's probably the one I read the most.
Mm. Do you read any with Astolfo in it?
No, I don't. I don't. Sometimes when I look for a popular character, it's not as rare. I prefer original content, but there's a few like I have such of course Link and Astolphos and stuff like that, and
Huh.
Peach and all that shit. But I usually don't tend to go with the characters known for other things.
Huh. So you tend not to go for existing characters. You prefer original ones.
Yes.
Huh.
I only go for the characters like existing characters if I um like just played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or some shit. I played that for a while. Then I might go in and say now it's time to find something about that. But if when I don't do that and don't watch a manga and stuff like or anime and stuff like that, I go for the original content instead.
Hmm. Okay. Well, that's interesting. The Yeah, I tend to like fan comics more, so I guess we're a little different on that.
Oh no!
Oh no, we have differences.
Go away. Fuck you.
Yeah. Let's see. So what have we covered so far? Let's see. So far we've gone over Loli. I think we should leave Loli and incest behind now, since we discussed that, and those are not personally appealing to me.
Okay, let me
Actually,
Yeah.
sorry.
What you want to say?
I was just gonna say I have like the loli I don't like, but the incest I don't necessarily have an issue with. Like it's all Greek to me, you know.
Yeah, see, I go so far with incest to say it's not something I actively search for, but I'm not gonna. If it's hard, I'm not gonna say no. Some of it is weird, of course. It is with every genre and such. But
I don't.
When it's drawn, I don't have much of an issue with incest, and if it floats up people's boat, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like when it's in hentai, I have zero qualms with it. Otherwise, I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna back away slowly now.
Yes, that's the point. Like lolly, I find, of course, disgusting in real life, and I don't like it in hentai because what it often turns into, and so whereas incest in hentai and manga, I don't care about it. I don't have any hard feelings. Sometimes it's annoying though that the incest hentais and doujin they have really fucking good concepts. Like there's this one about a brother and a sister. They have a hole in the wall and they fuck through. And it's like this is. Can I get one that's not about incest with this theme? This sounds fun.
Yeah, no, I don't really have too big, like, as long as it's at least, adult, like I don't mind the whole incest thing.
Yeah, just again, legal age. I think that's a thing we have stressed a lot, that legal age.
We're not pedophiles.
Oh, that's what we're
like I think that's the thing we've stressed is that no, children don't do it for us.
Yeah, we have artistry. We have just grinded that into people's mind that god damn it, we want pedos to basically die. Just die.
Yeah. Please, if you're an actual pedo, please stay away. Thank you. You can just go over there. Thank you.
Yeah, if you're a pedophile, please kill yourself.
Yeah,
you should say that in a Kadopal voice.
Oh, kill yourself.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
No, they might actually listen to that.
That would be. Oh yeah, there's oh my god, you could do like a undercover up with Opal and make her get pedos to kill themselves.
You just get Opal to be like, what would really turn me on is if you killed yourself.
Now, if you bound this concrete glue around your foot and jumped into the harbor, if you can swim to the surface, I'll have sex with you.
Hold your breath underwater for 30 minutes.
Yes. And if you float back to the top, I guess you didn't really love me.
Exactly. If you float, you're a witch, and I'll have to burn you.
Okay. All right. Oh boy. Let's see.
That was-
So we covered the lowly incest. We covered traps, which actually traps tend not to be all that extreme. It tends to be cute and cuddly stuff. There's futanari, which does tend to go extreme because
Yes.
usually if the artist is like, "Hey, let's have a chick with a dick on her," they're gonna add some other stuff to it. Body modifications is a big one that goes in. Now, actually, also interesting parallels between East and West here. Western porn, obviously, like in Western porn, child porn is bad. You're not going to have that in real life, but you do have that whole subset of genre, like teen, like 18, 19. You have that whole genre of porn stars who look very young, even though they're adults. So, would you say that is parallel to the Japanese lowly stuff?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Oh yeah, especially if like you get because I'll be watching TV and I'll see some fucking commercial pop on late at night about like, oh, I just got out of school and my parents aren't home, so I'm gonna go and have a party with all my other friends who also just got out of school. And it's like all these like little like 14-year-old looking girls and shit
Jeez.
who are like playing around in bikinis and stuff, and I'm exaggerating, of course, the youthfulness that they hold, but it's still like one of those things. It's like, yeah, give us a call because we're naughty and we just got out of school. I'm just like, can you like not things? Like,
Yeah.
seriously, like I get it, like guys, you want some young virgin who's kind of a slut, like, okay, I get it. And the best way to do that is to get them when they're 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the other parallel too was on the incest, I suppose, is it has been noted that the stepmom, stepdad, stepsister, that genre has started to take off. I think Pornhub released a study on that. Saw it in the news a little bit ago, but apparently that genre of porn is increasing in search activity. And apparently the main consumer for it is women. Like women apparently are really going after like stepdad stuff. Like that's a big thing now with the women. Like they fantasize about, the oh daddy take me kind of stuff.
Oh god.
Yeah. I wish
you
I
mean
was
the
joking.
girls with the daddy issues?
There's a lot of them.
Or maybe they even like they have a mom who's a single parent who's been dating a bunch of hot guys. And when I was younger, my parents had separated, and my dad was dating this one woman, and then my mom, she went on a date with a couple of these guys, and one of them, when I was a kid, I was like, he's attractive, I like him. There's something about him that I really like. And then now that I'm older and I think back, I'm like, oh yeah, he was hot. Go mama, go. So I could probably I think I can understand where the mindset lies when it comes to male or female who are searching up the step kind of like the stepdaughter stuff disturbs the fuck out of me, to be straight up and honest, because it's just like, if you're supposed to be a parental figure to this child in any way, shape, or form, your first thought shouldn't be like, yeah, I totally want to fuck him.
Yeah.
It should be, oh, I totally want to protect this child, and take care of them, not put my dick inside of them. And same with the stepmother searching for stepson kind of thing. Like that disturbs me too, because it's just a different line of like, no, this child's in your protection. But I'm going way too into, so yes, no, I can see the appeal of the step parent kind of thing, but I can't see the appeal of the stepchild.
No. Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
so you want to talk about yaoi, lo-fi?
Yeah, that's, since Oxing game asked twice, I want to.
Yeah, the yaoi is largely outside of my wheelhouse. I had friends, in my teenage and college days who were very much into yaoi, so I know about it from them and some of the conventions from them. That's about it.
Well, we want to get into some
Other than trap stuff, I mean,
doujinshi.
I guess trap stuff is technically yaoi, but
Yeah, that's where my point lies. Is I tried yaoi, but there's so many apps and there's so they are so fucking cut out in stone. I it's like it's yaoi is really gay. Like, and it's, you know what I mean. It's not that it's not just gay. It's super fucking romantic, sensually gay. Jesus Christ.
It's so cute.
It is. It's too much for me. It's too gay.
Oh, I forgot. One of the things we were talking about doujinshi earlier. One of the ones that I used to have two of them, like paper copies, was instead of like searching online. One was a Rurouni Kenshin yaoi one, and then the other was a King of Fighters.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Went into some video game shit right there. Like, yeah. But no, like, and I don't know. I think yaoi is so sweet and it's so cute, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I were a gay man so that this way I could have another gay man be as nice to me as this guy is being as nice to him.
It's so cute. It's so weird. The most cut out, strong, handsome men, and it's so cutesy.
It's disgustingly cute, and I just wish I had a relationship like that, except without the sticking penises in my butt thing. I have a vagina. So put the penis inside my vagina and cuddle me and tell me you love me.
Yeah, so yaoi relationship is the way to go.
Like, I think that's the draw. And if you look at it, most yaoi is consumed by females.
correct. It's
and
not
it's
aimed at
because it's so sweet.
Yeah, the gay males I know think yaoi is absolutely silly and ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's because it's so sweet. It's one of those, like, it's the idealistic kind of like treatment that most women actually really do want and really fantasize about, of like, oh, you actually love me like a lot. And sure, we'll like fuck every once in a while, but most of all, like, you actually like love and care about me, and you're gonna be sweet and nice, and okay, yeah, you can stick your penis inside of me or whatever. Like, it's okay. And you're gonna cuddle me as you do it, and you're gonna look me in the eye and tell me how much you love me as you're panting and grunting and plowing me. Like, oh my god, it's so cute.
It is. Huh. It's too cute.
It is.
Okay. So the Japanese term for a woman who's really into yaoi is a fujoshi. I was trying to look that up there. So now, interestingly, fujoshi
I'm a proud fujoshi.
Fujoshi is a derogatory term, because it means a woman who is ruined for marriage because they're too much into watching gay dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ruined for marriage. I'm just saying, like, but it's not because I'm too busy watching gay dudes. It's because real men have disappointed me on far too many occasions.
Understandable.
That's why waifus and husbandos are the best.
Yes.
I actually interesting. Tema brings up. So lesbians need to watch it. That is interestingly, a lot of my well, I mean, I don't say a lot, but the lesbian friends that I've had really love yaoi stuff. Like I had a lesbian friend there for many years up north, and she loved she liked to ship Colbert and Jon Stewart together, and she would draw a slut of them all the time. Like, she's a lesbian. And she's a lesbian specifically because she finds penises abhorrent. Like, she doesn't like penises. But for some reason, when two guys are together, it's okay. Like, she told me that, like, she watched a James Bond movie, and she was very she was uncomfortable during the sex scenes. But she started imagining that Bond was gay and just forcing himself to have sex with a woman, and she actually found that calmed her down from it, which speaks to some psychological issues going on there. But
yes.
But yeah, no, I've known. So as Atema points out, yeah, I've heard. I've known lesbians who consume yaoi content as well as yuri content, and the yuri that's aimed at women, that is aimed at lesbians. It has the same trait as yaoi. It's very sweet. If you look at yuri dojinji, there's it may not even have sex in it. There may be a little bit of nudity, a little bit of suggestion, but tons and tons of dialogue, lots of talking.
It gets really fucking boring.
Yeah,
it does. And on top of that, you don't scissor. Scissoring is not a thing that lesbians do. We talked to a lesbian about this, and she explained that no.
Well, yuri doujinjis are usually drawn by lesbians, so yeah, it doesn't have scissoring in there. It has fingering and that stuff, but it usually doesn't actually have scissoring.
No, it's way too, what can you say, realistic to be interesting.
Yeah. That's actually the primary form. Like when you look at Neptune and Uranus, the main doujins they start in for the longest time were just yuri doujins. Like yuri artists took those two and just ran with it for years and years and years. It's only been lately that you've been getting doujins about Neptune and Uranus aimed at men. So they don't have, which are more interesting and less boring. And oh boy, they do some stuff.
Okay, so
scissoring I think is a porn only move, like a few others. There's like stuff you only see in porn. I think that's definitely one of them.
Well, I've seen some in certain like hentais that are mainly yuri based. Like where it's just like, oh, these two girls and blah blah blah, and then they'll like, bump twats and stuff like that. And then there comes this guy who saves them from themselves or some bullshit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but that's the point. It's a porn only movie. It's not a realistic. This is what you actually do if you are a vagina grinder.
Yeah.
Tema brought up an interesting point, saying like Fujoshi could be the equivalent of the U.S. what's called the fag hag. However, there's a key difference culturally between Japan and the U.S. is while in the U.S. the fag hag, quote unquote, will probably like support the, be like, oh yeah, you should totally get married. Oh, it's totally fine, blah, blah, blah. In Japan, a Fujoshi doesn't necessarily support LGBT stuff because Japan is way more conservative on that. China too. So just because they like consuming yaoi does not necessarily mean they are sympathetic to real life gays and lesbians. Whereas in the US it does.
And fag hags, they're more like, I want to fuck these guys. With the Fujoshis are like, I love watching these guys fuck.
Right, and it's only fictional guys, as I said. It's not real guys. It's kind of like with yuri doujins for women. It's aimed at real lesbians and to support them. But yeah, yuri content aimed at men is completely different, and you would not see LGBT support for amongst yuri aimed at dudes in Japan.
Holy shit, that sounded like you sneezed and then you came.
Yeah, and that actually also that is an interesting thing. So in Japan, there, if you think about it, yaoi content is aimed at women who aren't necessarily LGBT, pro-LGBT. Yuri content is aimed at made by lesbians for lesbians, will tend to engender pro-LGBT stuff, but then all the rest of it, not necessarily pro-LGBT. So in Japan, there's actually a very small, narrow sliver that would support LGBT reforms and stuff, whereas in the US you do have a broader market, I think, of like pro-LGBT porn. Like if you look at some of the alternative porn, gay porn, because we have here in the US we have gay porn aimed at gay males, and that will also tend to be pro-LGBT. We don't have, I suppose that another key difference is in the US we don't really have lesbian porn aimed at lesbians. Whereas Japan does.
Yeah, over here.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Wait, let's see. I want ASMR or Kadun sneezing. Yes.
No. No.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully Sparky will clip that so he has it on his soundboard.
Zach, no.
I have fucking clips. I have the same soundboard. I found out this soundboard he uses is so cheap. And just a better version of the one I made myself. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna end the show now because it's late.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just want to Tema says this is a really interesting and informative stream. Thank you guys. So like, yeah, I tend to go academic on everything, even porn. But yeah, at some point we need to go over like the different genres of hentai, as well as like just overall like history and stuff. Like I think last time you tried doing a little bit of the history, but you never even really touched on Yurasuki Doji or how like the
No,
use of body horror
no.
in
So
hentai.
so my idea, instead of making a third episode of Not Safe for Wednesday, that's gonna make Smeagol go, God damn it! All she wants to talk about is hentai every single time.
Hey,
We can
anime
make it up.
is views, and Schmeckel doesn't get this because Schmeckel sucks as a businessman. You know, he doesn't know how to run a freaking stream. He doesn't know that anime would make him the biggest stream ever. He's just completely missing the boat. It's all on him. Yeah. Told him that last night. You know, he should just let Brockus talk about anime all the time, and he would
Yeah,
get
I
hundreds
got
of
my
views.
first strike for Not Safe for Wednesday because of that. We got a strike on Not Safe for Wednesday because Smeagol doesn't want to turn it into an anime stream.
All right, fine. Anyway, the okay. So, but I mean, you could do a whole episode on tentacles. Tentacles are so interesting.
Yeah,
There are so many different variations of tentacles.
yeah, the history behind the tentacles is very interesting.
There are so many things that tentacles could do to a person. You know, you have the tentacles that end in eyeballs, the tentacles that end in needles, the tentacles that end in mouths. You have the tentacles that end in penises. You know, you have like how they're attached, how they're designed. I'm a connoisseur of the tentacle.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining with me today. I've had the lovely sneezing, sexy sneezing. God damn it.
God, fucking sorry.
No, don't apologize. Everyone was like, I'm slightly turned on now. I wish he had a cold always.
I swear to Christ, like I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sneeze on anybody's dick, okay?
Yeah.
Ah,
No.
fantasy ruined. No.
I'm also a little disappointed with one other topic that we could have covered, but maybe in another stream down the line, is the stigma concerning rape in
You know what? We can just
East,
Oh
East and
no.
West. I know, yeah, you guys kind of touched on a little bit on in the first hentai stream, but no, it's a genuinely interesting cultural difference.
yeah,
Because
see,
because
okay.
it's only because U.S.
Rape can
porn
be a
is
topic in and of itself.
Yes.
yeah, because
And-
U.S. porn is the only one where that stigma is. Like if you look at South American and German porn, there's no stigma against it. Same with Japan. So it's a weird thing that's in the U.S., which is there's that stigma. We're the only ones with it, and I'm just curious on why. It's a question I don't know the answer to.
So we do research and find a day, and we do that. We make a listen and believe stream with just that.
Yes. So, Lo-Fi, I'm going to need you to research as much German rape dungeon porn as you can.
Oh no. Okay. Oh god.
Anyway.
Okay, and we had Tyro. Hi Tyro.
Hey, okay. I don't always talk about hentai, but when I do, I tend to treat it in a cold and clinical manner that kills all boners. Yeah, go. I'm 4 subscribers away from 100, so if anyone can throw a subscription my way, I'd appreciate it.
So if you sit in a circle jerk with Tyro, he's gonna explain why it's hot, and everyone's boner is gonna die.
Yes, exactly. So, did you know the history of the circle jerk? Well, and how it functions.
All right,
as a
so
social bonding.
we had
He's so excited. Okay, bye everyone. We had fun.
yeah.
Bye.